So, is God justice or grace? Is God justice or grace? That is God's definition of God, part 2. Yesterday in part 1, we discussed how to be God, you have to be the maximum possible. And then I also explained how God is righteousness, He is not power. Having the power to do whatever you want doesn't make you God. That is not an attribute of God, that is an attribute of the devil. You could see the video, I'll put it in the links below. God's definition of God, part 1. So God is the accountable one. People think God doesn't have to give account. Actually, it's God that has to give account. To be godly, you have to give account to show that what you did is what was supposed to be done. You have records of everything. You can show, you can justify everything you have done. It is the devil that wants the license so that he can do things that he's not supposed to do and nobody can ask him about it. As you can see on earth, that kind of behavior produces problems for everybody else. All it means is that he can misbehave without being punished, and then you can be punished even when you do not misbehave. That's what license does. When you hear things like, I will have mercy on who I want to have mercy, and um, I will forgive who I want to forgive. All those things, that is license. You're supposed to actually forgive who deserves to be forgiven and punish who deserves to be punished. So that everybody's life is in his hand. That is how you actually give people power, so to speak. If not, you're just making yourself powerful and making themselves vulnerable, making them slaves, and you powerful. So it is only beneficial to you, which is not the maximum possible. Everybody else cannot be suffering just so that one person can feel mighty. That is not the maximum of society possible. That is not the maximum of any kind of interaction that is possible. The maximum will be for everybody to be happy. Are we getting somewhere? So, in that light, we also have to look into the concept that to understand what when we say the maximum possible, it means that God, to be God, and this is God's definition of God. It's God that taught me this, and I'm not trying to criticize him. It's him that actually taught me, and that's why nobody knows it, because they've just been dancing around. They have very, very ridiculous definitions of who God is supposed to be or what God is supposed to do. It was him that taught me these actual definitions of what, if you're actually looking for a God, this is what you need, the God needs to have. So, to be God, to be the maximum possible, it means that you are what should be, not what is. The definition of God we have now is whatever is available, whoever created the world. It doesn't matter whether he created the world. Creating the world makes you a very powerful being. To be God is not about creating the world or creating people or being able to create people. To be God is about being the maximum possible. It's about being what things should be. What things should be. So that even that is how you become, how the Bible says it, that today, yesterday, and forever, you are always what should have been. If you are what should be, not what is, what should be, then it means that even when you were not around, you were what was supposed to be around. Even people that were not looking for you, you are what they were supposed to be looking for. You are always the one, you are always the target, you are always the right one. Everybody will always have to gravitate back to you before you can find peace, because you're the maximum possible, you're the best. That is the heaven that everybody is looking forward to. So, to be God, you have to be what should be does. Of course, it's all these atheist agenda moves. But in in Game of Thrones, there was a part where I can't remember what even happened. But Jon Snow said something about what sort of God would kill somebody and bring him back to life, or something about God not making sense. All those they are trying to put God in a bad light. They always do that and make themselves human beings that destroy things to be the saviors. God created the world. You are destroying it, but somehow you are the heroes and he is the bad guy. But no problem, that's not the matter. But they made a point that is valid on some level, not for the agenda, but on a neutral level. It's a very, very valid point. He said, what sort of God would do such a thing? And she answered, said, the kind of God we have. And that is the beginning of what God is not. God is not whoever, even if he created the world, doesn't make him God. That just makes him a very powerful being. To be God, like I said, you have to be the maximum possible. You have to be the best possible. No negative effects for anybody. that goes in context, but for him to do what he needs to do, when you understand him, you understand why there have to be negative effects for the negative people. That's the only way the problem can be fixed, and that's why he's doing it the way he's doing it. But for the superficial level, that is ultimately everybody's life is in his hand. So, to be, like I was saying, to be God, you have to be what things should be, not whatever is. So that begins to bring all religions into problems, because you just have what their God said. It doesn't really work. There are places in the Bible where it says God hates divorce and people should not get divorced because God hates divorce. Why should they not get divorced? Simply because one person hates it. I am living in hell. I'm living in literal hell. There are people that are in hell in their marriages. They made a mistake when they were young. They chose the wrong person. And then because somebody else that is not in any way affected by their problems doesn't like divorce, they should live in that hell forever in their only one life that they are given to the best of their knowledge. What the hell is that? So it's not whatever is that is God. It doesn't matter if you created the world or not. So even the idea of him creating people or creating the world does not even make you God. That makes you a very powerful being. That makes you a creative person, a creative being. To be God is that you are the maximum. When they check it, it could not have been done any better than this. And that's what God is. And we're going to get there. But it's not the version of God that we have for religious people. So we're going to have a bit of friction. But if you stick, you understand, and you will find the God that you are looking for, the God you should have been looking for. The God you're actually looking for, but you're just not really willing to do the work, because the only way he will reveal himself to you is if you really submit to him. Not when you come to him because you want certain aspects of your life to be blessed while you don't really obey. We'll get into that. It's very, very complicated stuff. So I keep trying to just stick to only one point, because if we mistakenly diverge, we'll start a whole topic for 1 hour. So, to be God, you have to be what things should be. At this point in time, I don't even know how to even go about it, because I was supposed to create a second point. In fact, that's actually the main point. But we're already in 7 minutes. And if I should start on that topic now, it will take a lot longer. But let me see if I can do it. If I can't, I'll cut it from here. If I can do it in under 20 minutes, we'll do it. So, now, is God justice or grace? Is God justice? I'll make that into another video. Okay, so it has to be what God should be. What God should be. I will make another video. That will be part 3, where I'll explain if God is justice or grace. Sorry about mentioning justice or grace in the beginning. And this simple point took longer than I expected. So, my name is Funom Zock-Sock. Created this channel so I could discuss God's way of doing things, God's version of things. Called it Social Systems Reengineering. It's nice to meet you. We'll meet again tomorrow.